Now here's a puzzle.
Olen äänetön, mutta puhun sinulle kyllä. Kukaan minun laillani ei ihan kaikkeen.
Why are these pupils likely to become the best readers in the world?
Jos sinä tulet mukaan, minä kerron sinulle enemmän kuin kukaan. Mikä se voisi olla?
Johanna Hämäläinen is coaxing her class towards an answer.
Sanomalehti.
No sanomalehtikin on aika lähellä, mutta mikä muu se voisi olla? Joonatan.
Kirja.
Se oli.
Johanna's class are writing books. It's part of a twice-yearly workshop, a climax to the class calendar, to make reading and writing an appealing topic at Stromberg School. Ophelia van der Pooy is a primary school teacher from London. She's seen the OECD International PISA assessment that puts Finland's 16-year-olds top in literacy. The UK, excluded from the main report because of insufficient responses, is probably within the top 7. She's come to Stromberg School in Helsinki to try to discover where the foundations of their success are laid. The school was built around the idea that children learn by doing.
Olipa kerran.
Here that doing happens in specially equipped workshops, away from the form classroom.
Aika erikoiset siellä.
Johanna's class is having their turn in the literacy workshop.
Pienet todet ja suuret sadut, eli siellä on pieniä tosiasioita niinkö? Ja sitten enemmän satuja.
What's actually going on here? What are they doing?
She is making the name of the book for the cover. She has written really long stories, about 6 pages long.
Right.
So a lot of improvement there, and now she's waiting for that I can read all the stories as well.
Johanna is teaching a form of mixed abilities. Their ages range from 7 to 10. There are pupils who have completed their books, working next to those still writing.
He's writing one story about the different planets, that there is this king who is very mean. And
I see he's using
yes,
his draft book.
Yes. That is where we write the stories first in this book. And then I read these books as well and make comments here. And now they are writing the same stories on the computer now, so they're printing them out. But also there are children that have now come up with a great story, so they can write it directly on the computer as well.
I was just going to ask that, Ellie. And how do you manage working with what we would call a vertically grouped class?
I consider it very, very nice, because in very early age they learn to respect one another, and that they don't maybe learn in the same speed as others. When the other ones are faster, they are actually really nicely helping each other out, and they are supporting one another. Eli sulla tulee olemaan sekä tosia tarinoita että sitten semmoisia satuja.
Yeah.
Okay.
How does this particular activity fit into the general curriculum?
Okay, this is very important for the literacy and the reading skills, really, to both read and write many kind of texts. So we've been reading throughout the year information texts as well as stories and poems and jokes. And this task, it's about creation, expressing themselves, which is really important in written terms as well as in spoken expression.
Johanna, tehdäänkö me ylhäällä se?
Joo, teette siellä. Onko siellä se?
Johanna has split her class. Some are writing in the workshop, others are working upstairs in the library.
I'll go upstairs and see how they are doing. Sä lukenut jo sanomalehden ja kirjoja?
No vähän.
Mitä siinä oli tapahtunut?
Minä olin ollut jossain kolarissa.
It's very different to where I teach, because we generally tend to have our literacy in the one classroom with the one teacher.
Voinko mä tehdä jonkun tarinan? Mua tekisi.
Siis tarina vielä mieli kirjoittaa koneelle? No totta kai, kyllä se onnistuu.
We've talked a lot about reading and writing. What about telling stories?
In autumn, everybody made their own, how do you call this?
Hand puppets.
Hand puppet. Yes, they made the hand puppets. And then we made drama with those. And also we wrote stories about the hand puppets.
Right, excellent.
And so it really all comes together, so it's not only one thing.
Olisiko joku semmoinen, kuka haluaisi ekana oikein aloittaa?
Ella ja Aleksi aikovat lähteä eläinpuistoon. Pakkasivat eväät ja kameran.
The telling stories is everyday thing at school.
Eli huomataan, että kaikki ei ole vielä samassa vaiheessa, mutta se ei haittaa mitään, koska kaikki on tehnyt omassa tahdissa, vaan se, että jokainen saa sitten oman tuotoksensa valmiiksi.
Tomorrow is the last day of the workshop. Everyone's books will have to be finished.
Karhu löysi äänet, he menivät naimisiin ja saivat vauvoja ja kerran yksi poika.
At the end of the school day, Johanna invites Ophelia to her classroom to discuss the day's teaching.
We started by making the circle because it's a good start. Every day we almost do that, or we have some kind of a start together.
I also noticed that you did the click, click, click and rhythm, which we do as well,
Yeah.
and it helps to calm the children down, and it also brings a noise level down, because I noticed that right at the very end the sounds got very soft, and it was really nice to listen to, because you could actually hear the silence right at the very end.
Okei. 1, 2. No niin, hienosti hiljennyitte.
That was really nice.
It was very
and
nice
to concentrate,
indeed.
come to this moment, because when they come to school they are really excited about everything, what's going on, also running in the hallways maybe.
I also saw that you had the children talking in small groups.
I know that they all want to say something, they are really eager to talk, so when forming them into small groups gives them more chance to speak, and everybody can tell their own ideas, own opinions.
And at the end, when you had actually finished that particular activity where the children were talking, did they actually feed back what they had said?
Yes, that's what they did.
Tanja.
One child from that group told what they had discussed.
Oli ihan tylsiä.
The workshop was about making books. Ophelia wanted to know when it started.
Because in autumn time we did a magazine where everybody put a couple of stories of their own. So now they could make really their own storybooks. So they could put all their stories they wanted into one book. And these stories that they made, that there are some that have written, this one isn't finished yet but is going to be soon. So there are poems. Then there are really long stories, really long. And for example, this story is about 6 pages long and written by a 3rd grader.
And was all of that done in their draft book first before actually typing
No, for
on the
example,
template?
this one was done straightly on the computer because she just got an idea that now I have this great idea about apple and pear and how they meet and all about that story, and just great imagination. These are really to express themselves. They have had a chance to write about their imagination, about what they really want, what do they think about, what's their life at the moment. And before we've done this, of course, this is a project so that you get the writing going.
Johanna split her class. Some writing, some drawing posters, others revising work done over the year.
Myöskin olet lukenut aika kauan. Okei, onko sä
There was the first project we were doing was downstairs, and that was to complete the book. When the children got it ready, some went upstairs, so that's really natural.
Well, that's
that you
really
use
interesting
both.
because I actually didn't relate the two together. When you did the work in the library, what actually was going on? Because obviously the language, I couldn't understand very much. Right?
Okay, this typical moment was that this girl here, she had already completed her tasks, or she had done the book.
Eli nyt tässä on tämmöinen peli.
They are searching opposites. These were about books. They can be thick. What's the opposite of thick? The books can be interesting, and what's the opposite of interesting? And so on.
Viet vaikka kirjaa. Kyllä. Se voi olla mielenkiintoinen tai tylsä. Okei.
But what really interests me is that children in Finland actually succeed far better in literacy than anywhere else in the world. You know, from what I saw this morning, there wasn't many things that were actually different, you know, between the way we teach and the way you teach. So what do you think could be the key factors?
What I can say about this, that I don't think it's only the lessons which count. Our school is for the children's whole personality, about the growth of whole personality. It has so many things that are to do with that, so that they can learn the best they can. I think in Finland what works really well is the student welfare system and all this.
Yes,
and what I noticed in Finland's results, there are not many who are doing very badly. There are not as many of those slower learners who need the special help.
The PISA report confirms Johanna's observation. Finland has fewer students at the bottom end of the scale than other countries. It could be that the Finnish system is able to care better for its pupils with lower abilities.
I'm still fascinated as to the influences that puts Finland where it is in the education state.
I think in Finland people appreciate education a lot, and also it's in families they appreciate education.
Right.
But from my perspective, what would be the reasons for the good results is that the importance of literacy in Finland is very, very big. It starts from time of independence, when you had your own language, you had your own country, and this is something that we want to maintain. Also, as Finland is a small country, we need to be open to the world, and Finnish people start learning other languages at a very early stage. You have to know Finnish very well to be able to learn another language, so it emphasizes the learning of Finnish. That's one thing that could be quite important. When we think about literacy in totally, what we talked about earlier is very important, the storytelling and playing, which is really important in child's growth. That's really important.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just laughing because I'm going to say, well, we do the same.
Yes.
But obviously you're doing something that's a little bit more than what we're doing in order to achieve the results that you achieve here.
It's just the learning culture also here. The interaction between children and the teacher is very important, and I think also the student groups are pretty small.
And what's the average class size?
I think the average would be about probably 25, but depends on school. My classroom has now 21 students.
Ophelia came to Finland looking for the secret of their success. She's been told about the special place language has in the nation's life. Now she wants to take something tangible home.
The main thing I'm going to take back is this workshop idea for literacy. I'm quite used to doing big projects, but not in the way that I saw this project done today. I will mute the idea to my head teacher and see whether there's a possibility of a pilot or an experiment initially. And I'm hoping that I can actually, get a project linked to this school going in my school.